Welcome to Your Limitless Life, the podcast where creativity meets transformation. I'm Jane Bellante, artist, coach, and entrepreneur, here to help you let go of fear, embrace your power, and create the life and business you've always dreamed of. Each week, we'll explore the tools and stories that inspire growth and action. If you're ready to break free and live your limitless life, you're in the right place. Now let's begin. Welcome back to the Your Limitless Life podcast. I am Jane Bellante. Thank you so much for being here. I truly know that what I am sharing has changed my own life so much, and I honestly just feel called to bring you along this path with me. So thanks for being here. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate it. Especially if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment your thoughts in the comments. You can. And you actually can leave comments on Spotify too. So I would love to hear your thoughts on these podcasts. If you have questions, ask them, because like I said, I am here really and truly to help you step out of the hamster wheel of the things that aren't real and step into the precious present moment where it is pure potentiality and pure possibility. And just like to stay out of the lack hole as much as you can, because we're going to go back into the lack hole. We're going to go back into those feelings of lack, those feelings of fear all the time, because they are neural pathways in our brain. And it's like a game trail. If you've been following me for a while, or you may have heard this from somewhere else, but it is like a game trail in your brain. So a game trail is where, bears and moose and elk and deer or whatever, they keep going over and over the same trail all the time so that it turns into a trail, right? a stomped down trail. And that's what a neural pathway is in your brain. And so that's why it is so easy to go right back into the fear thought, the lack thought, whatever it is. And speaking of fear, January on the podcast is all about fear. And we're also talking about fear in my free Facebook group, the Limitless Creators Hub. And there'll be a link to that below. I also gave a free activation class this past Monday. So that's why I wasn't here for Motivation Monday. That'll just be 3 times a month, because once a month I am giving these free activation classes to really help you deep dive into the topic of the month. And so you still have time to catch that. If you join and get into the free Facebook group, that fear class is up until this Monday. So get in. And, one thing I want to say is, like, we waste so much time scrolling on social media. What if because you're probably saying, well, I don't have time to take a class, right? It's an hour longer. It's an hour and 10 minutes, I think, right? How many times did you waste an hour and 10 minutes on Pinterest or on TikTok or on Facebook, Instagram, right? Go do something amazing for your brain, amazing for your own nervous system. Go take this class. It is free until Monday. And I really am so excited about these activation classes. So we're talking about fear this month. And today I wanted to talk about fear, your purpose, and your business, because I know that a lot of people that are watching and listening, and by the way, I just started putting this on YouTube. So thanks if you're on YouTube. Thank you for being here. I know that a lot of you listening and watching are creative business owners. And being a creative business owner is what I know. I have done this for 30 plus years. And I have made every mistake. And what we tend to do is we overthink those mistakes, and we use those mistakes, instead of learning the lesson from them, we use them as evidence to keep us afraid of trying something new. And I want to say that it really does pay off to stop overthinking. It does. And a lot of people like wear overthinking like a badge, like, well, I'm an overthinker. Well, great, great. So, where are you at in your life? Are you always stuck because you're always overthinking? Think about that. Don't overthink about that, but think about that, right? So, what do you wish you could have in your business? And if you answered me like, I want money, well, yeah, right, of course. That's why we're doing this. We all want money. But how do you wish you could make that money? What do you really, really dream about doing? So, when you're dreaming about that, it feels good and exciting, right? But when you actually try to go implement that, what are the thoughts that are occurring in your brain? Are you telling yourself, well, that'll never happen for me? Are you telling yourself, well, what if no one signs up? Are you telling yourself, nobody's going to like my stuff? Are you comparing yourself with others? And I'm so passionate about this because this is what we do, especially as a creative business owner, because we are putting our art out there. And a lot of us, we didn't have any training. So a lot of us, we won't even call ourselves artists, right? We'll just say, well, I like to create, but I'm not an artist, right? We think that we have to have some sort of certification saying artist, and we don't. Right? So we're putting our art out there, our craft out there, whatever it is that we make, and we are afraid that people will laugh at us, tell us it's bad, it's not as good as so and so's, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, what are the thoughts that you are having in your head when you're thinking about implementing or taking some kind of action towards this dream? Because here's what I want you to understand. If you are dreaming about it, it is already meant for you. This is the lesson. This is where bliss, happiness, and joy lives. It lives in this dream that you are not letting yourself have. And so, this is why when I am coaching business owners, this is why we start at the very foundation of it all, which is your identity. And that I want you also to understand that when you align your business with your identity, that you can build whatever you want to build, no matter what it looks like. So it doesn't matter if you like, and I know a lot of coaches tell everybody the same information, and I'm not bashing other coaches. I just want to tell you why I'm different, because we don't have to do stuff that we don't want to do in order to have a successful business. So, like, everybody says, we got to go live, you got to go live, you got to go live, you got to go live. And you're sitting there thinking, I don't want to go live. Guess what? You don't have to. And you can still have a super successful business. Visibility comes in all kinds of different forms. And going live and giving away free information all the time, that's just one part of visibility, right? So again, if you don't want to go live on socials, you don't have to. You can build whatever kind of business that you want. You don't have to have a big audience in order to start something, to start classes, to start a membership group, to start, whatever it is that you want to do for your business. You don't have to have a big audience. You don't. You can build whatever you want, whenever you want. You don't have to follow the trends. So, we doom scroll on social media and we're seeing what everybody else is making. And we're like, oh my God, I love that. I'm going to make that too. And then you're in fear, like, oh, mine probably won't be as good as hers. I better not put this out there. I better not, blah, blah, blah. Right? It's better if you don't follow all the trends and put your craft, your art, the things that you absolutely feel so good when you're making. That's what you're putting out there. You don't have to do what everybody else does. And in fact, that is how you stand out. If you don't want to be in all the places all the time, you don't have to. You don't have to be on Pinterest and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and. You don't have to be on all of that. You don't. You can build a business however you want your business to be built once you truly understand your identity and your identity as a creative business owner. So, what you focus on grows. So, if you want this business and you don't ever want to go live, right? Whatever it is, whatever I just talked about, right? If you want this business, you have this dream, what you focus on grows. So if you're focusing all over the place, like being on all the social medias all the time, all at once, right? We start to get in this hamster wheel of fear, like you're never good enough. I'm never going to be able to do that. I can't keep up. And the I can't keep up gets in your head and it's like, God, you just want to stop. And it takes away all the joy of why you started your business in the first place. So it stands to reason that when we are all over the place or thinking that we have to do something like going live that we totally don't want to do, we are not focusing on what we actually want. We're following advice that does not resonate with our souls, and it's not aligned with our actual identity. And I want to say this, if you are not aligned with your identity as the basis or the foundation for your business, you are going to continue to live in confusion of where you are supposed to be and what you actually should be doing. Because when we create from that place of like freedom and joy, you all know how it feels like when you're making something and you're in the flow and it's really good. That's why we make stuff, right? It feels good. You want to be creating from that place of feeling good, not from the fear. So if you are not aligned with your true identity, you will always feel like you are in lack. You will always feel like you're not good enough. You will always feel like you are behind. And it is a rat trap. It's a rat trap. Social media, the news, society, it keeps us there. It conditions us to sit in fear. So the limiting belief of others combined with our own limiting beliefs, that's like a Molotov cocktail inside. It keeps you small. It keeps you in the lack hole. It keeps you fearing your actual dream, the thing that you actually wish you would let yourself do. And we have evidence. We have evidence that we can't. Well, last time I tried this, this happened. Last time I tried this, this happened. And I want to tell you that your thoughts create your life. And so when you see the repetitive pattern of things not happening for you, I want you to understand that they are happening to you for a reason. It is because you are creating this repetitive pattern in your own life by the thoughts that you are having. And it is wild when you begin to see this. You can look back on your whole life. I'm sure that we all can, okay? I look back on your whole life. See if you can identify one repetitive pattern that keeps happening to you over and over and over, because this is your greatest teacher right here, right now. So like I was repeating, and I still do. I go back into the lack hole, right? I told you at the beginning, it's a neural pathway. It keeps going, right? I can shift it really quick now, but my pattern is I'm not enough. 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 So when I look back, I can see how I'm not enough showed up in my life all the time. All the time. And so now that I have awareness of that, I can discredit it. I can shift it. I feel when my body is going into fear. And if you took the activation class, you'll know and understand that fear is the catalyst for growth. When you step through it, you come out on the other side with more grace for yourself, more compassion for yourself, because you understand how it is you yourself keeping yourself in the fear. And the fear causes the choking in the throat. It causes the yucky feeling in the stomach or your chest, right? Somebody actually said, like, I feel it in my skin everywhere. Like, I just feel tingly and icky all over. And when you begin to understand that fear is the catalyst for growth, you can begin to discredit the thoughts that you're having and begin to find new thoughts. We are the thinker of our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. That means we can change our thoughts at any time, right? But the awareness of the fear, what is this fear trying to tell me? That is the lesson. That's the lesson that if you learn it, you'll actually step into who you are really, really, really meant to be, especially in your business. And this is how you start attracting your tribe. It's really being aligned with your identity, being true, putting yourself out truthfully. Like the hot mess that I am, I'm sitting in front of you right now. You know, I was always afraid of people seeing me, yet I was trying to be seen. Why isn't anybody seeing my art? No, why isn't anybody seeing me? Nobody's coming on my Facebook Live, blah, 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 blah. So I was fighting against myself. My fear was of being seen, yet I wanted to be seen. What's the lesson? Let yourself be seen. Step into the fear, because that is the catalyst for growth. So we live in a day and age where we want everything super fast. We want it right now, immediately. And society keeps us in that pattern, right? I want it right now. I want it right now. And we forget, because society, social media, everything that's keeping us in that pattern, we forget that it actually takes time to run a business. So when we launch something, let's just say like a membership group, and it's not immediately successful, we automatically go into the black hole and say, well, nobody likes me. This is not going to work. I have to try something else. But actually, when you're building a business, only a few people get lucky and have like this immediate success, right? You have to be committed to building what you want. And the more you look past the fear and you look for the things that you love, the more it will show up in your life. So the more that you are, and also like gratitude, the more gratitude you put towards what you're doing, because when you're finally aligned, when you finally understand who you are and you're like, this is totally what I want to do, you got to put it out there. And you got to put it out there 70% perfect. Just do it. Just get it going. Stop freaking overthinking everything, right? Just do it. And then you nurture it, right? So like, think about like, I kind of have a black thumb, okay? But so like I kind of kill everything, but like let's use plants or like, growing vegetables as a, an analogy here. So like you don't go and just like put the, the seeds in the ground and cover them up and then walk away and do nothing else, right? You have to nurture it, you got to water it, you got to whatever, weed it, whatever, I'm not a gardener, so but it's a good analogy because you can understand that it's the same thing for your business. You have to nurture it. What you focus on grows. If you're not focusing on those seeds, that thing that you just planted is not going to grow. It's the same thing with your business. One thing at a time. Yeah, but I need, I need this. I get it. But the more you focus on one thing, the more it grows. And if that thing is aligned with your identity of the true thing that you love, love, love doing, it will grow faster. Focusing on your identity helps you focus on who your customer is. Then you can solve how you help them. Then you can become visible in the way that you want to become visible. The places where your people are hanging out, it's not just social media. You can do all kinds of things to be visible. So Understanding that fear is the catalyst for growth helps you to understand where you're working from in your identity. When a fear comes up, you have to ask it, what is this trying to tell me? What is this trying to teach me? What am I actually afraid of right now? And that is the root of your thoughts. And you know what is actual magic? Actual magic is when you actually start to focus on what you want with joy and excitement and passion, pure potentiality, pure possibility. Guess what? It grows. You start to see more and more and more evidence of this in your life. It grows. So, that dream you had inside of yourself, what if you looked at that dream as intuition instead? It's not just a dream. It's not just a faraway thing that may or may not ever happen. It is your actual intuition telling you to step into it. This is what you are meant to be doing. And it's a true knowing of the place or the space that you are meant to be in. The fear is the perfectionism, it's the overthinking, it's the judgment of yourself, it's the judgment of others. So if fear is your greatest teacher, what is the lesson you yourself are supposed to be learning? What is the intuitive hunch you are having, but you are afraid to step into? And what if we stepped into our own intuition with inspiration? What if? What if we actually allowed ourselves to grow? What if we actually allowed ourselves to have the business that we want to have? So I am going to leave you with that. And we will be wrapping up next week. I actually have two guests on the podcast with me, and we are going to be talking about self-love and doing that through art. So I know it sounds kind of crazy and everybody's like self-love, schmelf-love, right? But honestly, you giving yourself the love that you need, the care that you need will open your entire life up. So I encourage you to join me right here next week, Wednesday, for another episode of the Your Limitless Life podcast. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.